This call is being recorded.
All right. So, I got the music playing on over here. About to put it off. All right, y'all. This is Brother Hatim coming at you live and direct. This is for grown folks. I'd like to thank all those that are listening, and I also would like to thank those that are tuning in. Now, I'm trying to give people time to tune in on the line before we jump in deep. I already have one guest. I want to thank him, his brother Destiny, out of parts unknown in Georgia. I appreciate him for coming through, and I appreciate all those that's listening. Now, for those that want to join me in a conversation that's bold enough to come with us, because that's what we call it, because we're about to get this crystallized wisdom that our ancestors left us in the form of folk tales today, right? So we're gonna go and we're gonna get this knowledge, and we're gonna talk about it. And if it's me and Destiny or whoever else comes, all are welcome. Come on out. Now, once the conversation really jump off, those of you that's on speaker and on Spreaker, you, in order to continue, you will have to, and I repeat, you will have to come to 614-556-4535. You can listen in or you can join the conversation. But after a certain time, I cut off the Spreaker and I record on the Uber conference, and I will upload it back up for the world to hear. Oh, we've been joined by Mr. Jonathan Smith. Society's Truth is coming in. We're about to go and break this down. We got more and more people showing up. So in a minute, this Spreaker station is going to have to go down so that we can have a conversation. I will keep it up, but y'all can't hear it. I want to make sure y'all able to hear everything that's going on. So I'm going to put up the story so that the brothers can, if they, I think Jonathan joined me on the Hangout, so he will be able to read the piece. Brother Destiny, I don't know if you are on your cell phone or on the computer. Okay, cool. So you might not be able to see what I'm showing on the screen, but I don't know. You might be able to, because But can y'all hear me clearly?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Cool. Jonathan, can you hear me? All right, I'm assuming he can hear me. All right, so here we go. Somebody else is on the line. Who else is joining us?
That was me, Hatim. I hung up and called back.
Okay, no problem. Welcome, John. All right, this brother Jonathan, he has a show called Society's Truth. Let me take that down. Cool, here we go. So, the name of the story we're going to be looking at today is called The Cat and the Mice. The Cat and the Mice. One of the Aesop fable. The version I'm using is translated from George Fowler Thompson, and that is the translation that is up on the screen for y'all. So I'm going to read. It says, a certain house was overrun with mice. A cat, discovering this, made her way into it and began to catch and eat them one by one. Fearing for their lives, the mice kept themselves close in their holes. The cat was no longer able to get at them and perceived that she must tempt them forth by some device. For this purpose, she jumped upon a peg and, suspending herself from it, pretended to be dead. One of the mice, peeping stealthily out, saw her and said, "Ah, my good madam, even though you should turn into a meal bag, we will not come near you." All right, so now, in the book I have, they don't have a movie, but on the version that's on the computer for people to see, the moral is, he who is once deceived is doubly cautious. Now, I'm about to go in on this one, unless somebody want to jump in first. Because I'm like, yo, hey, so now, he who is once deceived is doubly cautious. Now, this is for healthy-minded people, right? This is proper for healthy, minds of people. This is talking about individuals staying their place and time in the world. And I just want to be clear on that because, one, I'm going to bring it, of course, we can look at it on a personal level, but I always like to look at it on the community level as well, or the nation level as well. And what I'm perceiving from this tale, and feel free to jump in, right? What I'm perceiving from this folk tale is, in reading this and looking at some symbolism, I'm gonna look at it like this. Let's say black folks are the mice, right? I'm starting on a cultural level first. Black folks are the mice. The white folks are the cats. So let's say this system is the cat. But because we have been so traumatized, we don't necessarily have a sense to do what the damn mice did. Once the mice figured out that the cat was there to kill them, they said, we ain't coming out. I don't care if you turn into $1 million. I don't care if you turn into a feed bag. I don't care if you turn into a meal bag. As long as you are out there, we will not come out. But we're not following that. That sounds like survival sense. And what this shows me is that oppression, when you expose people to oppression for so long, their minds almost erode to a point where doing some things for their own survival becomes opposite. Because I know of situations in which I acted the opposite of this. And I know of other people in my life who have acted in situations just like this, the opposite of this. They didn't use the word of the mice. Even mice know that when a cat is out prowling, you don't supposed to go out and run. You know what I'm saying? Many of us, on a personal level, live our lives like this. You know what I'm saying? Anybody want to go in before I continue? No comment?
Continue, bro. Go ahead. No comment.
I know where I can go.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
One thing I want to say about that is that when it talks about who is one to deceive, he already been caught. So why would he allow him to get caught? And I think about this, the meaning of it. I look at it as I can hit my head up against a brick wall twice as hard if myself, if other than if I got someone else to do a fuck. So basically it's saying that you have to separate yourself from mind like people. You know what I'm saying? And not just that, like people that make stuff that's normal, you really gotta take it like to make it simple. You gotta not dangerous. And you have to like well, I'm looking at it
Jonathan, you breaking up real bad, man.
Yeah, he breaking
I know.
up.
You breaking up real bad. We're missing your wisdom, dog.
Can you
I can hear you good now. It's like you put the phone down or something. I don't know what's up.
Nah, I ain't put the phone down, but what I'm trying to say is that we have more I want to say my generation, we have a way of saying, well, you hurt me once, but I'm gonna stick around, and then and you allow yourself again. Once you have forgiven the person that has already it's like putting yourself through pain, and that's the situation with nowadays is that we are forgiving so much. We continue to forgive, and because we continue to allow and for other people to accept it, it's like we're actually setting ourselves up for more hurt. If you go look, we talked about me and Gye-Nyame have talked about this a lot. I'm gonna say it again. If you go over to Korean places and you go over to other cultures, you won't. It's hard to get forgiveness to them, especially when you double cross, especially when you cross them up. They're more relentless. what you are. So that's why I took that. Call me crazy, call me, but I think that is that you have to turn your small thinking into something bigger. And you gotta outsmart them. They trying to outsmart you already. So how can you outsmart food? How can you you go beyond the food? Sometimes you gotta get ignorant people just to out ignorant somebody. I mean, I asked the person, I said, you know what you're saying? Do you even know what the meaning of that word? And that just to me, I took a lot. What I took out of this is that price of caution. And sometimes it's not. And sometimes nowadays, being cautious is being fearful. Cautious is not fearful.
You said caution is what?
Cautious like nowadays. Cautious nowadays is more like being fearful. If you're cautious, you're fearing something. You have a fear of something if you're cautious.
So is operating with caution a good or a bad thing?
No, it's not a bad thing. No, it's a good thing. It can be good or bad sometimes.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Because you can be so cautious that you don't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? And because I'm looking at this, and it's like it's like some of the survival instincts of our people have been eroded. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it affects us on a group level as well as an individual level. Because, because maybe that's a conversation we might need to have as a man. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been wrestling with this, and I've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks, man. It's almost like in our areas, because I don't even like using the word community because, we don't really have one. You know what I'm saying? We need to build. That's something we have to build, something we have to take and build. You know what I'm saying? We have to have ownership of it in order to call it a community. So we don't really have one of those. At least I don't know of, but none. But maybe there are some out there. But maybe we need to talk about, because what is it that somebody could do in our community that would basically make it hard or make it impossible for them to return? You know what I'm saying? Is there? Because it's sort of like, because even if we go from, let's take it outside of the arena of even having the system or white supremacy be the cat. Let the cat be a predator in our community. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us know individuals who have raised hell in our communities or in our areas, or even in some of our own homes, that somebody will always open up and forgive them and let them be family. You know what I'm saying? Is there a point where you should ever be like, dude, you can't come back around here? You know what I'm saying? Because in our community, what I'm seeing, or in our areas, what I'm seeing is that because there's no rules or no limits, people are just doing whatever they want in front of whoever they want. You know what I'm saying? And I'm wondering, how healthy can an environment that is that open, how healthy can that be for our children? You know what I'm saying? Because it's almost like one of the things I have noticed in my life, man, and I know a lot of people might disagree with this, but the more options you present somebody, because I've been talking about, the more options you present somebody, the less likely they are to choose anything. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
that's true.
With a lot of options. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was saying that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Because you present a whole bunch of options to people, and it's almost like they get froze because it's like they never really had to make choices, or if you don't have to make a choice, why would I make a choice? When at one point in time, we determined what a child would be. You know what I'm saying? Either the circumstances would let your child know what they're going to be, or the family determine what that child would be. In many cases, we determine who the child would marry. You know what I'm saying? In many cases, we determined a lot of stuff for family members. And when people violated that, they were removed. They were put out of the community. They were put out.
But I agree with you about doing that, but like that's and because if the children, I've been taking psychology 101, and I have come to a lot of conclusions on taking psychology classes, and just learning about like the body and certain circumstances, and kids have the opportunity of free will, and because they have the opportunity of free will, you can tell them that you can have a say so and what they do, but 9 times out of 10, what they gonna do because they kids, they gonna do what they want to do anyway. So it's not like people coming to our neighborhoods and raising hell and those things like that, right? Well, let's just say this. I'm gonna give you a scenario. Let's just say every time I'm what's the only way? What's the only way to stop me from punching people? I'm just randomly. Somebody make me mad. I'm just randomly punching people. What's the only way to stop me from punching? Either what you gonna separate me from all these people, or you gonna incarcerate me and do something.
No, there's another option, Jonathan. You're missing a major option. You're missing a major option. It ain't just separate and incarcerate. At one point in time, if you violated certain rules in some areas, still to this day, you disappear. There ain't no something, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's places where that still goes on. You know what I'm saying? If you come into certain areas and you don't belong, unfortunately, in our communities, it's happening all for the wrong reasons. But there was a point in time where if you came up in there, you didn't belong, and you didn't show the proper respect, you would disappear from the planet. So incarceration and separation are only 2 of the choices. There's other choices. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So and it's like the mouse is the mice have to hide because the cat is in the house. How many of us see? Because it's like this. Cats are bad, without a doubt. But if you have mice that's willing to defend what they have, and it's enough of them, they could take that cat out. You know what I'm saying? And it's almost as if we have been convinced that the cat in our lives are so invincible that we can't get rid of it. So we just be like, hey, I'm gonna die anyway, so I might as well run out of here and be consumed. I'm gonna die anyway, so I might as well go out here and sell this dope. I'm gonna die anyway, so I might as well go out and do this lick, hit this lick. I'm gonna die anyway. You know, it's almost like we surrender. So rather than banging on the cat, we bang on other mice.
Right. I mean,
and that's not healthy. That's not healthy for us.
Right. Well, think about this, Tim. Think about the cartoon show. Remember Tom and Jerry?
Tom and Jerry.
Jerry was always the one. No matter how many times Tom had to capture Jerry, Jerry always found a way to beat Tom. There was never an episode where Tom won.
It was one.
Huh?
It was one. I mean, maybe 1 or 2. You know.
But
I hear you. It's sort of like the Roadrunner and the Coyote. You know what I'm saying? The Roadrunner always wins. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and that shows. Well, I mean, that was the piece behind that is that the small can win. We all have seen situations like that in our life. You know what I'm saying? We all have seen that. And the piece that I think, the piece of the wisdom that's in this story for me is, one, we're acting outside of our own survival mechanism. It's like, you know, because and I keep bringing Amos Wilson up. For those that don't know who Amos Wilson is, that may be listening to this later, right? Look up Amos Wilson on YouTube. Amos Wilson describes what he calls white supremacy. He describes it, and he says that it warps the mind of those of our people and makes them believe that the negative behaviors, the behaviors that take away from our life, are the positive behaviors. It flips the whole world upside down. And we're looking at the world upside down. So we can't work together. You know what I'm saying? Because unity is good. So unity got to be bad. So we work. We can't come together to build, but we can come together to tear some shit up. Excuse my language, because this show I try to keep clean. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, and it's sort of like the mice. You know, I mean, the mice in this story maintain their survival mechanism. After they noticed what was happening, they stayed off the streets. Cat tried to hide, tried to change and look a little bit different so he could get some more free mice. But the mice, I guess the mice was going to wait him out till he left so they could come back out and start running amok again. You know what I'm saying? But if there's enough mice, they could take that cat out. And I just want to keep stressing that. Yo, mice, we can take this cat out. This cat ain't that tough. Whether we talking about the cat as a group or we talking about the cat that's in your life. You know what I'm saying? Many of y'all have been hemmed up by the cats of your life. You know what I'm saying? But there's more of you than that cat. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna have to either wait them out or you're gonna have to bang on that cat. You know what I'm saying? Whether that cat is overweight or that cat is a fear of starting that business. You know what I'm saying? You have to get on that cat. You gotta figure out a way to handle that cat. You got I like the fact you brought up the thought about Jerry. You know what I'm saying? You got to Jerry that cat. You know what I'm saying? Jerry used to have to outsmart that Tom. You know what I'm saying? Although Tom was bigger than him, Jerry used to always outdo him because he was smarter. You know, and also he had some good artists that liked him a lot, I guess, too. But, you know, that's a whole nother story. But, you know,
if I can interject here.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I think with our particular state is it's a cruel irony as well, because although we've been socially isolated, it's an actual survival threat in modern industrialized cultures. I mean, the state of being lonely, it does trigger stress and survival mode states. You know, and especially for our people, especially the men and some of the warrior class of the women, hunter-gatherer in the ancient ways, so being socially isolated does often end up creating a survival risk, meaning that, but mainly because it's chronically an elevated sense of stress levels. And that's also driven by, you know, unnecessary, inappropriate, quote-unquote, survival mode activities like drinking, smoking, and indulging in promiscuous types of activities with women, so even for our lost brothers or women, lost brothers and sisters of the opposite sex, obviously. The brain is, in effect, tricked, typically unconsciously, into these unnecessary states of survival mode, such as fear of abandonment, and it's not because of actual survival-threatening circumstances, but because our brains they confuse our evolutionary past with our modern circumstances. Even in this life now, I think that we have a massive evolutionary mismatch. And that typical result is far more. It's unhealthy. It's unhealthy. So when we're in an unhealthy state, trying to battle against the cat, you're definitely you'll be more unprepared, and especially with high levels of social isolation. So it's shown it has effects on the physical health. So I mean, I don't know. I just think that we just have to really dig deep within that group, within the, in between the walls, like the mice are in that safe haven, and really look at their surroundings and say, yeah, I'm in between these walls. Okay, now let's figure out the topography of where we are, so that way if the mice runs this way, we know we can come this way and be able to send sentries to get the food, send sentries to get the crumbs and things like that, while we occupy the mice, or occupy the cat over here. And we can do it without, sophisticated tools or weaponry. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys kind of think about that?
Hey, see, now you brought up that whole survival mechanism piece, and that whole social piece, because that social isolation. Look, I mean, that was brilliant. Because how can I put it? One of the major things that was stripped from us in our culture was the whole rites of passage piece. And that's the label the Europeans put on it. And then on top of that, what started to happen was we started to think that rites of passage was just about teenagers becoming adults, when in fact rites of passage should happen at several points in our lives. It's an ongoing process. You know what I'm saying? And part of it is that whole thirst for adventure. Because a warrior is an adventurer. You know what I'm saying? And when a community is not able to provide the warriors with that adventure, they will get up and they will create it. They will make gang warfare so that they can have the stories to tell. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we blame the young people. Yeah. We blame the young people for their behaviors and their interactions, but they're doing what warriors do. If the community will not guide that energy and provide a safe place where they can get rid of this energy and show their braveness and show their boldness and show their desire to challenge death. You know what I'm saying? They will do it.
Right, going on walkabout. That's what we used to call it, on walkabout. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We don't do, so by us taking that away, by that being taken away and by us not reintroducing that, you know what I'm saying, in a massive way, we endanger our youth. So now, because they don't have nothing inside the walls, because I like how you described that, inside the walls of our house, right? They will run out and needlessly challenge the cat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Which you know what I'm saying? Which brings us back to, listen, you don't even know how useful that statement was, because you open up a whole. This is what I call wisdom mining. This is why you need people to come. We need to really look at what our ancestors left us, because our ancestors left us all the answers. It's just a matter of us triggering each other. Because, dude, you triggered just with what you said. You triggered a whole nother direction of thought for me. You know what I'm saying? Because the way you described the warrior culture, you brought in that whole piece where one of the issues that we have is that we can't, and even outside of sports, it has to be, because only a couple of individuals are truly accepted into the sports range, because sports are designed to kind of isolate those that are super good at the sport. What rites of passage used to do, or the warrior training used to do, it used to give everybody the basic skill. And everybody, let me put it, a majority of the individuals will be able to make it through and be able to share something with other warriors. You know what I'm saying? That's why you barely have anybody in gangs sitting on the bench. You know what I'm saying? You got basketball teams with individuals sitting on the bench, but everybody can be active in the gang shit. You know what I'm saying? But we don't have those in a healthy fashion in our community, which is part of the reason why we don't have communities. You know what I'm saying? Because those type of individuals, those type of young people that you bring up in that type of society where you are teaching them a culture, You're teaching them their responsibility. You're teaching them that, hey, a culture needs to be defended, and guess what? Guess who gets to defend it? You. Which means whether you got to pick up a spear or you got to pick up a pencil and some paper and do some math to build something, that is your responsibility.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Dude, listen. Wow. So, that's why I do some of the stuff I do, but I didn't look at this. Thanks. I didn't look at the story in that way. So I'm going to have to label that one. Thank you. But hey, you got anything else?
Oh, I'm just listening, man. Just kind of just letting you keep going, brother, and then that way I can kind of just bounce off of that, man. Just what you and the brother were talking about. So you keep coming, and I'll keep coming too.
Cool. How did you hear about the show?
I got the prompt from my phone. So.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I guess we're on the same Google Plus grouping and everything. The whole social media deal. So, I know when your show comes on. So.
Cool. All right, yeah. Man. So
let me call in tonight and see what my brother's talking about.
Yeah, man. Hey, we do this every Tuesday. Usually, I'm kind of surprised because usually some other, I'm getting surprised every time I do the show because I'm getting different people all the time. I was kind of surprised because Sister Janice usually pop up on this one because this is the show she liked. On Wednesdays, we do the same format, but we do folk tales. Not folk tales, we do proverbs and quotes. And tomorrow, man, I didn't even send out the invitation. But tomorrow, we're going to be looking at quotes by Winston Churchill, John de La Fontaine, and a proverb from Ghana. I'll post that a little bit, probably later on tomorrow, early in the afternoon. But now, I'm going to read through it one more time, and then we're going to go into a little bit more. For those people who may be listening to this later on as a podcast, you can feel free to join us at 614-556-4535 every Tuesday and Wednesday at 10 p.m. and Fridays for Freestyle Fridays, where it's just open conversation or, if nobody call in, I'm just going to go in. Also, I want to mention this for those that's listening. I have what's called the line. The 614-556-4535 is a number called the line. And what I'm trying to build is a show that is truly dedicated towards the people. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is the deal. At first, I had it to where I had to call in before it would start recording. But now, I basically turned that function off. So all those people who have news that's going on in your area that you want to share, that you have poetry that you want to share, that you have some random thoughts that you want to share, that you got some commentary about politics, economics, spirituality that you want to share. You know what I'm saying? You can call into the line anytime, leave a message. The only thing I ask is that you hit me up at HA2TIM at Gye-Nyame and let me know that you left something on. You can leave me your name, a way to get in contact with you so that I could check out the show and upload it and put it on for the world to hear. You know what I'm saying? This is your show. The line is your show, so I want to make sure that everybody knows that it's available. All right, so now we're going to read through it one more time. Me and Destiny going to see if we missed anything, and then we're going to continue to build. Giving some people a chance to come. If nobody comes, then we'll just call it a night, because Destiny opened it up for me a little bit. He had that special machine that was able to crack open the rocks, and I found a jewel. All right, here, the cat and the mouse. A certain house was overrun with mice. A cat, discovering this, made her way into it and began to catch and eat them one by one. Fearing for their lives, the mice kept themselves closed in their holes. the cat was no longer able to get at them and perceived that she must tempt them forth by some device. For this purpose, she jumped upon a peg and suspended herself from it, pretended to be dead. One of the mice, peeping stealthily out, saw her and said, "Ah, my good madam, even though you should turn into a meal bag, we will not come near you." Hey, those mice, listen, first of all, let's send shouts out to the ancestor Aesop. Aesop wasn't no joke. Aesop wasn't no joke. You know what I'm saying? And we got to realize that, our ancestor dude, because he was in a similar situation to a lot of us. What a lot of people don't know is that Aesop was in captivity, for lack of a better term, because most people outside the job don't understand what I mean when I say captivity. He was a slave. He won his freedom. Right. He won his freedom. He liberated himself through his mind, through his ability to tell stories, because he was so good at telling stories that he was eventually set free and became an ambassador for the king of the area that he lived in. Now, so a lot of the pains we suffer, a lot of the things that we go through today, basically in his time went through it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like our ancestors, and for those of you, I don't care whether you write and don't share, but please put your thoughts down somewhere, because your thoughts, you never know how your thoughts will influence your children, or influence somebody that might pick it up and read it. Leave something for posterity. Don't just leave money. You know what I'm saying? Don't just leave money. Money's good. Don't get me wrong. But leave something that to teach your child a lesson. These stories are over 2,000 years old. And we sitting right here dissecting one and able to make sense of it in the very time that we're living right now. Getting some useful advice from it, some useful information. So if his words are able to be translated and translated and translated over and over again for the last 2,000 years to end up on my dining room table for me to talk to somebody that I don't think I ever met before about one of his stories. Imagine what your stuff could be doing 2,000 years from now. But a lot of us hide our light because we don't think, you know what I'm saying? We like the mice that's trapped in the hole. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're trapped. You know what I'm saying? And that cat is on the prowl, and some of us, we ain't gonna follow the adventure street and go out. Not that I'm saying you need to do that, but in some ways you do need to be bold enough to go out and work with your people to go out and take that mouse out, or as Destiny said, some of y'all keep the cat busy while others go out on a food run, and I'm going on a water run to get the supplies that the rest of the family need. You know what I'm saying? Some of us got to be bold enough to put our ideas down and not be pinned up by this damn cat. You know what I'm saying? So we can't. Can we go out mentally? Can we go out spiritually? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Rather than just sticking and being in that hole, are you living your story for your children? Because one of the things that I have realized, man, is that many of us, because we don't know what our families went through, because we don't know what our fathers and our mothers and our grandfathers and our grandmothers went through, we end up repeating their stories. When if we knew what they went through, if we sat down and we took some time to listen to what they got to give us, man, how much time would it save you? You know what I'm saying? So one thing, write your thoughts and ideas down. Number two, listen to the elders in your family, because some of y'all are living generational curses, not because God has put it on you, but because you do not listen. You know what I'm saying? You're repeating genetic traps. And rather than finding out about the genetic trap, you just stumble into it. Because you didn't listen, and then you're not writing and you're not planning. what I'm saying? So we need to do better at that. You know what I'm saying? I want to send shots out because there's a brother on the line by the name of Daoud. You know, he quiet, but hey, thanks for joining us. You got anything you want to say, Miss Destiny?
Oh no, I'm still listening, brother. I'm still getting them jewels from you, man. So keep it going, man. Keep it going.
All right. So now, the cat. Let's look at the cat. When a cat was no longer able to get at them and perceived that she must tempt them forth by some device, for this purpose she jumped upon a peg and suspended herself from it and pretended to be dead. Yo, check this out.
That's peak value. That's value right there, man.
That's who?
That speaks a lot, man. That speaks value.
Who is this?
This is John, man. Society Truth.
Oh, you back on? Okay. I mean, 1 minute you was on the one thing, now you're on the other one.
Yeah, and I don't know, someone's acting up, so I just went on and got on the call.
All right. Daoud said he was put on mute. I'm gonna take you off mute. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try to get you off mute. Hold on. What in the world? Hold on, y'all. I got somebody who got something that he might be able to share with us. That the system got him on mute. Daoud, you ain't using no old computer, right? You got to hit me up. You using an old computer, man? Because I like to get all the wisdom because, you know, you never know what somebody might say that might shake the world, man. He's on his computer. All right. Now, okay. Well, they got your volume is on. Oh. All right. I don't know what's going on, man. It won't let me. I turned your volume up, but they won't. Because I see the mute. Do you have the mute on, Jonathan? I mean, do you have the mute on, Daoud? No? Okay. All right. I'm going to try one more thing, and then we're going to go on. He said he cool with listening. Okay, control room is only available on Hangouts. Oh, that's whack. All right. All right, Daoud, I apologize, man, but if you have a question or a comment, feel free to let me know. Let me try that. Nope, that didn't work. Let me try that. Oh man, you know y'all got to excuse me, man, because I'm crazy like that, man. It's like when something happens like that, Hangout Toolbox will no longer automatically load at the start. No, we want you to automatically load. All right. So, all right. So now back. That cat. Now, that cat exhausted all the resources. That cat caught everything it could. When it thought it couldn't catch me, when it finally figured out that nobody else was coming, the cat pretended like it was dead. Right? The cat laid in wait in plain sight. It jumped on a peg, you know, so it made it look like it got impaled. But these mice, because in a sense, let me put it this way, these mice was in tune with being mice. They knew they was mice, right? They was 100% of their miceness, their mouseness, right? I'm a mouse. I know I'm a mouse. They didn't think there was anything else. And they told that cat, they said, listen, my dear madam, we don't care if you turn into a feed bag. We will not come near you, right? So, you know, depending on how big the house was, while the cat was down in the kitchen, The mice, some of the mice might be upstairs. You know what I'm saying? Like Destiny said, boom, some people distracting the mouse, the cat, while the other ones is getting busy in other places, right? Because they're not going, they ain't necessarily letting the cat stop their life, but they letting the cat know, look, we're not coming near you. And this, once again, goes back to a sense of knowing who and what they are. Understanding, look, we are mice, that cat is our enemy. Unless we can kill him, we will not go near him. And that's something that we really need to learn how to adhere to. See, now, and this is what's crazy, right? One of the ideas that I had is this thing called the Gye-Nyame complex. I want to raise enough money. All right, we have somebody else that just joined the call. Welcome. How you doing? Who is that? Miss Catrilla? It said Miss Catrilla. Welcome, Miss Catrilla. Or Catrilla, I don't know if it's a miss, but it's a nice little cat down there. All right. Well, anyway, we got this cat. I mean, we got the mice being sure about who they are. They know exactly who the cat is. They're not fooling themselves about who the cat is. You know what I'm saying? No matter what the cat acts like, they refuse to go near this cat. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and when I'm reading this story, I'm constantly being bombarded by the fact that the mice understood who they were dealing with. First, who they were and who they were dealing with. You know what I'm saying? They didn't try to appeal to the cat's love mouseness. They didn't try to appeal to the cat's of justice. You know what I'm saying? They just basically was like, hey, homie, we're not coming near you. You can sit right there. You know what I'm saying? You can you can turn into a magic bag of beans. We're not coming nowhere near you. We don't care. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that survival mechanism, man. That survival mechanism. And I'm not saying it in the negative sense of the survival mechanism. The survival mechanism that makes sure that them mice have been able to exist for the last 100,000 years, kicked in, reminding them, look, this is who you are. This is your enemy. Stay away from them. And I think we might be missing that, man. I'm really concerned about that piece. I'm wondering what happened to that in us. I'm wondering what happened to that in us.
I say I can pretty much I can kind of put it in kind of medical terms as well. There's sources of failure to control developmental processes. And what you just asked pretty much is, what basically led to the failure to control our own development. And, we first off, we have to go back and look at possibly the ancients knew that they were going to fall, going to go to sleep, possibly mentally, physically, spiritually. So they chose inappropriate, premature goals. That could be one caveat. There's the failure to control due to lack of, the developmental foundation, just like you said, what we call now the rites of passage, going on walkabout, listening to the griots, listening to the old stories, the sages, and also, we're thwarted by others as well. We've got those powerful competitors that have been grafted to prevent control and or to prevent gaining control of different processes. I mean, that's the major thing that we have to really grasp is just our failure to control our own processes, our own development, our own lack of opportunities, or taking control of our opportunities. I believe that if we want to go back just maybe 40, 50 years, I was remarking to a young man, and he was saying that how much that he didn't know anything about, Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Noble Drew Ali, Elijah Muhammad, and all that. I'm like, well, how come you don't know that? I mean, in between, you say you listen to hip hop and rap music and things like that. These people have been mentioned. There's television, there's the internet, there's all these things. How come you don't know this? He's like, nobody in my house would talk about that. We lived in an impoverished area. Nobody talked to each other. All we knew was, bullshit. Oh, pardon me, bull crap, and just we just survived just by just surviving and being around our own isms, if you will. So we have those are the major sources that we just do not. We have a failure to control that. We have a lack of self-control, and there will be a way to control different characters, but you also have to look at how characters are developed as well. Character traits are developed. When you have some that have hostility all the time, well, they'll be scared and hide in the corner, or they'll end up being just as hostile. Our particular issues with this particular adversary is like the cat. They said that the mice were saying that he wasn't going to go near the cat because of the even if they turn into a feed bag. Well, the feed bag obviously is the resources. So we've abandoned our resources. We've abandoned the knowledge of those resources. So, I mean, even if, didn't know, like you said, the mice didn't think they were anything else. Well, our people think they're something else. They think they're the cat inside the wall. And I'm just reiterating your point that you had from before. And that's just the thing. We have a lack of self-control in that particular aspect. And the cat, he already exhausted his resources by eating them up and then letting them, go back into the wall. Well, now we see, a resurgence of colonialism in the motherland. We see a resurgence of, or put it this way, you have different parts of the house talking about they're going to come together and subjugate those that are already within the walls, where you have your BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. These, they are within the walls.
Explain BRICS, because a lot of people might not be familiar with that.
BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South America. These countries are pretty much putting a powerhouse together, an economic powerhouse. Pretty much, hey, we on the block together. Let's put our money together and let's create, pretty much a monopoly of inclusive growth for our economies, sustainable solutions, sustainable development for our economies in our own countries, and do partnerships. That's pretty much the basic explanation, if you will, to kind of keep it simple, if anything. And obviously, your viewers can Google BRICS, BRICS, and then go from there. But I'm just using that analogy. They're pretty much inside the walls as well when they're going against white supremacy, and you have the dominant society. So now they've taken the taffy and say, okay, now we can cut our own deals within these walls and create our own development within these walls. Even though there's the resources on the outside of these walls, we still can create an expansion opportunity for us mice here in the walls here. And we have other mice that, don't know who they are, and they don't know that they're mice. So let's go ahead and influence them in a particular manner, whereas, some of them will kind of rush out there and try to meet the cat and try to get the resources and go out. Some will maintain a system of mental enslavement inside the walls as well. So you have all those different things that kind of go into this cat and mouse game here. So that's just I yield the floor with that.
Man, you said cat and mouse game. Hey, that's what it is. Because, like you said, my issue is that the mice in this story knew who they are, but in our story, we don't. We thinking we are something else. so so we are almost, it's almost like we're handicapped because our perception of who we are weakens us because we are not really looking at who we really are. We're looking at who we either been taught we were, or who it can believe we were.
Right.
You know, and it's very disempowering. As a matter of fact, it's sort of a form of, I believe it's a form of surrender. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? 'Cause go ahead, Jonathan.
No, I didn't want to cut you off, but I wanted to get in on it. I was wanting to go back to what the brother was talking about earlier about how we don't have, and he talked earlier a little about isolation, and he made a very key point when he was talking about some other things too. But I just want to say that a lot of times the reason why we don't have control of our community is because we allow, and Malcolm X said it himself, he said we allow other people to come in our communities and basically police our communities, and we vote for them. And we vote for them, and they take control of our communities, and they tell us what to do and how to do it and what not to do. But if we were to take that transition and have our own politicians, elect our own politics, and elect our own governors, our own mayors, and so on, then we will be able to have a little bit more say-so within our communities because that power that was taken away from us, we're now giving it back to ourselves. Now, Hachim, you made a point about where a lot of stuff was either taught to us or, was like put on us. Sometimes things are kind of self-taught, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, like when you talking to the young man that didn't know anything about Martin Luther King Jr., if you look at a lot of different areas of the states, like in Illinois, I've never in my life heard of Breacher. I didn't even know that was a city. Never in my life heard of Burbank. But there are cities out there that you just unheard of, and I mean, Fox Lake. I mean, like, it's just and they do different things, and those are the areas that I never heard of. Their crime rate is kind of low. If you look at it, and you look at those things, they're crime rate because they have a controlled system. We have to come up with a controlled system in our community, and start saying things that, and put in place every day that we're trying to do in our community because they're not calling us community, We're what they're called broke down neighborhoods. We're what they're called, Negroes. I see my language, but they call us niggas. And that's what we are. We are actually right now, we're actually NWA. Reincarnated. We're niggas with attitude because we not even fighting for what we believe in. We just niggas with attitude. But I'm gonna keep it clean on that one. But that's what we are. We have attitudes on top of attitudes, and it's like we don't give a care in the world, and we're letting people have control of our lives and have a say so. And and a lot of subjects are touchy subjects that we don't talk about. College for the elite. That's going to happen if we don't take control of our community. And we got to start paying attention to who's the cat. Who's the cat in this whole presidential race? Donald Trump. That's a cat right there. So we don't see Donald Trump as a cat. We don't see him as the one because everything that he's saying is because he ran so many times and we taking him serious, but we're not paying attention to the foolery that he's speaking. And a lot of times we in our community, I see this a lot now, is that we try to argue facts. You cannot argue a fact when a fact is indeed a fact. You can argue an opinion, but you can't argue a fact. And that's another big issue too, because that's all I hear about. Everywhere I go to school, we trying to argue facts. And I told a couple of friends of mine today, I said, we can't argue facts, man. I can't argue with you. What you just said was a fact.
So for you to sit up in the trying to start arguing with me, I can't argue your fact because if I look it up right now, what you just said is a fact. And it shook, and the way I shut down the whole conversation, you'd be shocked at how they looked at me because you can't argue a fact. And we got to start promoting ourselves and conducting our community in a way that we feel that should, because if we don't, we're just setting the next generation up for failure. That's why I work. That's why I'm trying to work so. That's why I work so hard with Simba. That's why I work hard with my radio show. That's why I work hard with my business, because I believe in the youth. One way, if I can't change the condition of the world, I might as well start with the youth. Because there's no harm or no foul, and all the youth can do is listen. That's the only job. That's the only job. And I figure out a lot of stuff as I get older. We found out so much stuff as we get older, and we be so doggone shocked. It's just crazy. I found out recently that back in the old days that 90% of the United States money was controlled by 7 families, and the Kennedys is one of them. The Rockefellers is one of them, and it's not that way anymore. But I mean, come on, you mean tell me 90% of the U.S. money was controlled by 7 families? That's crazy, and they kept everything in the family, and it worked for quite some time. So we got to start, figure out what we need to do. Stop being we can be mice, but we can't be weak mice. Sometimes we gotta start transitioning our abilities and start thinking like Jerry, because no matter how small Jerry was, Jerry always outsmarted time. And there were a couple of times where he almost got caught, but they always had a buddy mice. He always had a buddy mice to come help him, or he always had some type of close friend to come help him.
Mm-hmm.
So he
one
was.
Thing.
Go ahead, bro.
No. Go ahead, brother. You finish your thought, man. Finish your thought.
No.
I'm finished. Go ahead.
Oh, well, one thing for sure, I was just kind of thinking that we need to kind of stop with our avoidance behaviors, and like I hate to say, acting like a victim all the time, because they like to throw that like, well, you're in victim mode and all that. But people that avoid non-resistance, you avoid conflict. Thank you. That ends up being, examples of that are like keeping one's distance, hiding, sneaking around, lying, cheating, stealing, killing, even. So these particular traits of avoidance behaviors is also in the cat. Even though the cat seems that he's killing all these mice and eating up all these mice, because he's hungry and whatnot. At the end of the day, he's just being a cat. But when he has to sneak, hide, lie, cheat, steal, and kill, obviously there's behaviors there that where he's feeling controlled. He's controlled by the amount of mice that are there. He's also controlled by the existence of the wall. So now he can't penetrate the wall. Now the wall can be a mental wall, physical wall, spiritual wall, economic wall. Right. It could be all of those. It could be all of those things. So I think with a lack of power that we ensue all the time, when we have this vulnerability, and we become much more short-sighted. We don't resist domination. And the domination, I'm not saying that dude's got his foot on our neck all the time, but and let's just say for the record, they know who they can do that to. Right. I mean, I've gone on walkabout. I mean, Hatim, you know me. I've me since I was very, very young. I'm telling you, I've gone. Oh my God!
Wait, time out. Is this Destin? Oh my God!
Yeah, this is the brother. This is the brother. I have gone on walkabout. I have been in many, many countries, and I'm telling you, man, they know who they can do that to, and they know a mouse. Remember, speaking of one Jerry cartoon, remember the big buff Jerry with the kind of bowl cap that kind of tilted, kind of like the gangster, You know,
Right.
the gangster mouse. That was the mouse that was unafraid to come outside of this wall. Economic, spiritual, mental, physical, whatever you want to call that wall.
And Tom got scared. And
he got
Tom
scared. Exactly.
And he didn't know what to do. He did not know what to do.
Exactly. And what did he do? He ended up showcasing primitive victim-like behaviors, which was keeping the distance, sneaking, hiding, lying, chill, all those things. So, he's got these. The cat also has the avoidance skills or the avoidance traits. So we have to.
If he's forced into it.
If
he's forced into it, you got to force him into it.
Right, but he's forced into it now because he if we take away from the cat and we're talking about the dominant society, he's forced into it now because of his own fear. His own fears of lack of melanin clusters and all the things that we can go as deep as the abyss. All the things that he is lacking, which makes him which makes him a formidable force, but because he has nothing to lose, but also makes him weak too. And we have to gain reliable cooperation within ourselves. We need to create that acceptance, and still at the same time be autonomous, and display the psychosocial skills that, hey, you know what, I can become resourceful. I can, educate my brothers and sisters. I can maintain an open relationship with others and be willing to give others what they need or what is requested of them, what is required of them in the community, without adding or subtracting the truth and fact, like the brother was saying. So,
yeah, we need to stop being conservative. We need to stop being conservative and selfish. I mean, now and being conservative can mean a lot. It can be, and we always talk about Democrat and Republican, and you got the Democrat, which is for the people. We for the people, all of that, people, you know what I'm saying? Then you got the Republicans, they known as the conservative. But, we got to think about what, and we get so mixed up of what conservative and what, helping the people being provided, that sometimes the Democrats end up being conservative and the Republicans have to switch game and be for the people. So it's not like everybody's, one for political thing. It's we have to, once we become conservative, it can be a two different formats. And what we and being conservative can also be a bad thing, because when you're conservative, sometimes you become selfish, and when you become selfish and with during that conservative time, then what do you expect the community to do? How can you expect the community to improve? It's like you got to cure the HIV, right? You got to cure the AIDS, and you got it. You got about 20 million of them, but you don't want to put them out. You got them. You know it curable. You tested it, but you holding on to the cure. Sometimes you got to cure the disease before the disease takes over the world. And right now, we are sick. We are so sick that we are in need of a cure, because everybody's passing on this illness, and the illness just spreading like wildfire. It's spreading like Ebola is spreading. And you know how every time we got this disease come out, everybody get crazy. We're gonna die, and then it turns out you're gonna live, right? And that's how we are. We are sick, and we feel like we're so down in life that nothing is good. But all we got to do is come together, and the old saying goes, put the unity back in community, and start policing ourselves again. I mean, I know I've said it multiple times, but I keep saying it because somebody's gonna click it. Somebody has to click it and take over. And we got to start doing it like Malcolm X said, by all means necessary. We can't get tired. Like Kevin Gates said, we can't get tired, and we got to do everything by all means necessary, like Malcolm X said, because Martin Luther King had a dream, right? And he gave this big speech about his dream. Now the man, he ended up being assassinated. His dream has been put in place. His dream is, and we fulfilled the dream. We weren't able to work together with other people, but we're cutting off a lot of what our elders and our ancestors has put in place for us. Why are we cutting off the blessings that the ancestors provided us? That is where you go wrong with life. You cannot cut off the blessings that the ancestors. It's the reason why we struggle. It's the reason why we continue, why generations and generations and generations. Nelson Mandela put some stuff in place for his community and stuff in South Africa. Guess who took on his idea? Martin Luther King. And so many other people. And they had paid the price, and all we got to do is claim the prize. We don't even have to pay the price. They didn't pay the price. They're not here to claim the prize, so it's up to us to claim the prize. So while we're sitting saying, I'm good, when somebody offers you some perfectly good food, let's just say you get it from Uncle Joe's. Now, I'm from Chicago, and because I'm from Chicago, the best jerk chicken place, and the top two jerky places, Uncle Joe's and the Jamaicanville in Chicago. I will never turn down a free meal from Uncle Joe's, nor the Jamaicanville, because it's a perfectly good meal, and it's something that they're provided me to live on and to continue on with my energy every day. So why would I turn down that blessing? Why are we turning down blessings that our ancestors provided? And that's making our struggle, our lifespan, our mentality, and we actually put ourselves in isolation. We actually put ourselves in that isolation period because we don't want to take the blessing and claim the prize. Well, we don't even have to do no work.
Right.
All right. Now check this out, brothers. It's 11:14. I'm going to go and cut this show off because I got to get up in the morning. I want to thank both of you for tuning in. Hey, Destiny, you a doctor yet?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Yes, I am.
You sound like you was a doctor. What type of doctor are you? You sound like you was a doctor.
Emergency medicine physician. I also do clinical research as well.
Yeah, I thought you was like a sociologist or something.
I didn't catch that.
I'm putting it on my resume. Yeah, I got one to become a doctor. Yeah. Why?
Yeah. I'm in here, brother. I tell you, man. I've been grinding on it, man, and just studying, brother. Studying the science of life, doing everything you taught me to do, man. So I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, brother. Ain't nothing new.
If you happen to be in Columbus on September 11th through the 13th, we got a camping trip. We're taking the whole family out into the woods.
Oh, wow. I
so,
still do that with my children as well. We go out there at least a couple of hours a weekend, man. We still do the same thing, man, and listen.
That's good.
Everything from, what we from before. It's the same deal, bro. Hey, I appreciate. That's why I came on the call, because you ran across my mind, and then next thing you know, I get the prompt that that the show was starting. I said, well, shoot, let me call the brother right now. Let me get it in. So.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you,
Jonathan.
Yeah, I'm here.
I met this dude about the age I met you. He was about 12 years old. So
yeah.
But hey. I want to thank both of y'all for tuning in. And anybody that might be listening when I do the rebroadcast, remember, this is Gye-Nyame Journey. You can find us on Spreaker Radio, Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. You can also find us at gye-nyamejourney.com. Check out some of the books. Also, remember, we got the camp trip coming up for all those that's in Columbus, September 11th to September 13th, 2015, Columbus, Ohio. Right now, for families, it's $75 because you missed the deadline. For individuals, I think it's $40. Not 100% sure. But you can find it on the site. And with that, I'm saying peace, and I pray that your day will be as beautiful as you are. Remember, call us on the line at 614-556-4535. And I want to thank Brother Destiny. My fault. I want to thank Dr. Destiny. I want to thank Society's Truth, Jonathan Smith. And with that, we out, y'all.
Peace.
Peace, brother.
Hey.